What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon MLB DFS video. It is Tuesday. It is August 15th, and we are back with a full 15-game breakdown. Hopefully, you guys had a fantastic Monday outside of, Monday work. But we are back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. You're in for a treat. Ask anyone around. Hopefully, this is the best DFS spot that you can find for a lot of information that we're going to go over. So a great way to help the channel out, like the videos, be a subscriber, watch and click on the ads on these YouTube videos. It really does help us out, and it's free. I know ads are annoying, but if you click on them, that definitely helps us out. Hit the bell notification so when we go live, you can check the video and like it immediately and leave a comment so you guys can get in there once we record these videos and choose winners. If you've never been here before, anytime a previous video gets at least 50 likes, and you leave a comment and you're a subscriber, you are put into random right here, the comment picker, and you have a chance to win a free, if with 50 likes, you have a chance to win a free month. With 100 likes, you have a chance to win a free, the 50 likes is a chance to win a free week, 100 likes is a chance to win a free month, 125 likes is a chance to win a free year, and 150 likes on a video, all before the main slate locks, you have a chance to win a lifetime pass. You can win every single day. So let's check out who the winner is for the awesome video that we had yesterday. As many likes as we had, let's see who the lucky person is today. Congratulations to David Durlam. Can't believe I used Eflin on one team, still won 50-50. That is correct. David, congratulations. If you see this video, hit the like button. Let us know that you saw it. And then there's two ways to get a hold of me. Either hit us up on Twitter at advisors_team, or you can hit us up on our support email, dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp1@gmail.com. David can come back and win every single day if he's randomly chosen with commentpicker.com. So big shout out to you, David. Anytime someone wins, it's great to see, and a lot of people leave comments. The best thing is, I would say, subscribe to the channel, obviously, and hit the bell notification so you know exactly when these videos go live, and you can get your comment in there in case we have to. I don't want you guys to miss out, because it's got to be before the main lineup, main slate lock. So congratulations to David, and good luck to everybody else. That being said, we have two early games, which is, for whatever reason, they're about 25 minutes early? Yeah, they're 25 minutes early, so they're not on the main slate. DraftKings doesn't have an all-day slate, so we will go through that. So we have the Guardians at the Reds. We got Logan Allen versus Graham Ashcraft. Now, this is being played in Great American Small Park. This doesn't have any factors with weather. We are going over it. Also, something I forgot to mention, if you are new to the channel, once you like this video, at the end of this video, or towards the end of this video, we do simulations. So we do 10,000 total simulations for the day, and then we put it on the website. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com is the website. You can sign up FTA Plus, $24.99 for a month, or you can go for a year using the promo code NFLVIP. You're going to get $100 off. You're going to get a full year pass for $99. That includes PGA, MLB, NFL, MMA, NASCAR, and we're probably going to bring back NBA as well. So that being said, we do simulations. We're going to give you the top 10 bats that the simulations like. After 2,000 simulations, we're going to give you the top 10 pitchers it likes. Towards the end of the day, normally about 4 p.m. Central, we do the simulations. We do a total of 10,000 simulations and throw out the best projected players via those simulations. So definitely check that out. Definitely make sure. Check the website out. That is part of FTA Plus. But we are going to give you a free sample of it. Now, it does change. Obviously, throughout the day, lineups come out. Weather comes out a little bit more clear. We run the simulations. They will change. So these are just the initial. These are not the end-all, be-all. This is only 2,000 simulations of the 10,000 we do. So I wanted to make that clear right there. So we're going to take a look at the first game here. This is Great American Small Park. I'm not the biggest fan of taking pictures here, and we're going to look at it as to why. So let's take a look. Logan Allen coming in. He's on the road. 3.55 ERA, 5-5 record, 88 Ks. Game logs, not so good against Toronto. I mean, he went 5 innings, only gave up 1 earned run, but got the loss. They only scored 1 run. He got 0 run support there. 1 home run was given up, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. So the reason on DraftKings he lost the points were obviously the walks. So looking at this, he had a good game against the White Sox, not a good game against the White Sox. It's been up and down. Splits-wise, on the road, he's a little bit better on the road. That's not saying a lot, but he is a little bit better on the road. More Ks on the road in one less start. Less walks, less home runs, less earned runs, less hits allowed. Now, he is going up against Cincinnati, where their offense, obviously we've seen what they've done. They're really good this year. They're hitting the ball. This ballpark plays very friendly to bats and not friendly to pitching. But when you look at this, I mean, you have 4 pitchers to look at. Everyone's going to be on Javier because he has a better matchup against Miami. I think people are going to be off of Logan Allen. Tournaments, I don't mind. Again, obviously 2 games, you are doing tournaments there. So we don't really have to cover this. I'm not going to go in depth for the first 2 games just because we know who we're going to look at. We're looking at Graham Ashcraft here against Cleveland. Cleveland's been bad. Jose Ramirez still suspended, I believe. Game logs, Ashcraft against Miami, 25.4. We look at splits. He hasn't faced Cleveland this year. Home games, he's worse at home. I just don't think I want anything to do with Ashcraft because he is this expensive. Probably, I'm not going to be playing this at all. I'm going to avoid this slate, and I'm just going to go with the main one, but we're going to cover it. I also forgot to mention, down below in the description, all of our information, all of the fantastic tools that we have at FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, but we also have a DraftKings NFL season-long league. Well, it's NFL league, so total of 200 spots. It's the first 200 people that go in. It's going to be pretty awesome because what it is 200 spots every single week. It is $10 to enter. Top 5 get paid out. I think first place every week, if we get 200 people, will be $580. And we can do this every single week. So I'm leaving this up. I'm going to be posting this to Reddit when we put our information on Reddit. So if you want to get in, the link is down below right now. All you got to do is join the league for $10. Put a dummy lineup in there for now so you get your spot reserved. So go check that out. First 200 people, we'll go with that. The problem is, I wanted to do it on FanDuel, but on FanDuel, you can only do a maximum of 20 people. Now, if we get interest in FanDuel as well, I can make one there. But I wanted to do DraftKings first because we can get 200 people. I wanted to get that made right now. So definitely the link is down in the description. Check it out. Sign up now if you want. I believe the spots will go fast. Again, this will be our first year having a league, so I don't know how fast it'll go. But that being said, back to these games. We're looking at Ashcraft against Cleveland. They've been pretty bad. Looking at them, if Jose Ramirez is out, I really like them. I like Ashcraft here. I don't really want anything to do with Cueto, but we will look at this. So let's look at the bats in this game. So we're looking at the bats in the Guardians and the Reds. This is a little bit different. We're going to go over this. If you want to see some other things, we definitely can. But here. So you can see you want to go with players that have a bunch of red. Obviously, Jose Ramirez is out. Nothing much with Cole Calhoun. Laureano's not much. There's not much going on between here. A lot of blue. Steven Kwan. He's got a couple of red. But that's basically it. There's not a lot to like about this Guardians team. Now, can they put up runs? Obviously, they can put up runs. We've seen them do that this weekend. When you look at the Reds bats, you see that there's a ton of red here. So much red, so much more red than what you see on here. You've got a lot of light red. You've got the red. You've got in between. These are what I would look at. So if I'm not taking Graham Ashcraft, or if I'm not taking Logan Allen, I would be looking at De La Cruz. I'd be looking at Strand if he's up towards the top, Spencer Steer, Matt McClain. Those would be the ones I look at. But you guys wanted to check this out. So these are our splits on the website. So if you're not going with Logan Allen and you want to check out lefties, how the Cincinnati Reds fare against the lefty, we can kind of see. You can see a lot of green here. Senzel believes, I think he just got sent down actually. Spencer Steer's got a lot of green there. Fairchild, I don't mind. Matt McClain, I don't mind here. Ellie De La Cruz, I like. Newman a little bit. This is anyone who has at least... Oh, you guys can't see it. This is anyone who has at least 60 plate appearances against left-handed pitching that they will show up. So definitely you got to make sure who's on the starting lineup. They'll be out a little bit earlier because it is an earlier slate. So that is a plus for us. But yeah, right-handed batters against Graham Ashcraft for Cleveland. I mean, Jimenez I would use. Ahmed Rosario is no longer there. Jose Ramirez, but I believe he's still going to be suspended. If his suspension is up, obviously he would be in for what I would look at. Stephen Kwan a little bit here. Josh Bell's obviously gone. Josh Naylor's on the IL. Miles Straw, I don't want anything to do with. So, to be honest, when I'm building around here, I'm probably avoiding Logan Allen and the Guardians, and I'm looking at Graham Ashcraft and the Reds. Astros at the Marlins, you got Christian Javier versus Johnny Cueto. Like I said, Cueto here, game logs, not much. I mean, he's going 5 innings, he is, but he's given up earned runs a lot here, especially with his starts. I don't trust him. He's going up against Houston. I want nothing to do with that. I will avoid Johnny Cueto like the plague, and we look at Christian Javier. Game logs, an okay game against Baltimore, not so good against New York. 4.36 ERA. He is getting dubs. He's 8-2 record, 110 strikeouts, but the problem is he's been giving up some as well. You know, we need to see 6+ innings out of him, which he could do here against Miami. On the road, he is worse on the road. 66K. He has more strikeouts on the road. He has 4 more starts on the road, but a worse ERA on the road as well. So looking at this, I'm probably avoiding Cueto. I would look at Javier, and I would look at the Astros bats. And we don't really need to go over the Astros bats. Everyone is in play except for Martin Maldonado. So absolutely love Yerny Diaz, love Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez, Chas McCormick, Jose Altuve, Bregman, Pena if he plays. That's what I would look at. So these 2 games here, I'm for sure not. I'd probably go with Javier and Ashcraft, and then I would look at Cincinnati bats, and I would look at Houston bats here. Obviously, if you want to go contrarian in case they can do something, then you could look at maybe Miami bats or Cleveland bats. I think those would be lower owned there. But that is my thought on this early 2-game, 4-team early turbo slate on DraftKings. So that brings us to the start of the main slate. You got Boston Red Sox at Washington Nationals. Finally, we have Nick Pivetta. He actually shows up here as a starter because if you've been with us before, you know that Nick Pivetta's name, anytime this website, Baseball Savant, didn't have a pitcher for Boston, DraftKings 100% of the time had Nick Pivetta up there, and then it turns out he wasn't the one who was starting. So we look at this. He's only faced 14 batters against Josiah Gray, 23 plate appearances, 167. So we look at this. We can look at these matchups, but we come down here. Nick Pivetta is right there. Where'd he go? Why'd I miss him? There he is. 7,800. Game logs, he pitched 8-9. So he went 5 innings in that game against Kansas City, which is a great matchup for him. I don't know if anyone watches MTV The Challenge, like back in the day, but tell me that doesn't look like Evan. I don't remember Evan's last name, but Google MTV Challenge Evan and tell me they are not twins. I just realized that. But you can see, yeah, Kansas City had a good game. Toronto did not have a good game. Against Seattle, he even had a good game against Atlanta. Splits-wise, he hasn't faced Washington this year because he's only faced 14 total. We look at this. He's pitching away. His ERA is better away. He could be in store for a good game here against Washington. A little bit less Ks, but yeah, he hasn't started a ton of games. So these numbers are a little bit skewed because he isn't starting games for the most part. He's coming out of the bullpen. Whether or not he's going to be stretched out, I mean, his last time he went 5 innings against the Royals, struck out 8. So obviously, if he could replicate that again, I don't mind him at 7,800. Then we go down here. I'm assuming we go down here. Maybe not. Where is he? Where's our boy? There he is, Josiah Gray. Game log, I mean, he comes in with 3.70 ERA. Philly, obviously a good team. Not much going on. 4.2 innings, 4 earned runs, 7.7. 0.1 here in 3.2 innings. Good game against the Mets. Good game against San Francisco. Not a good game against St. Louis. Very up and down. Hasn't faced Boston this year. Home games, he is worse at home. 5.17 ERA. In 9 starts, so in 5 less starts at home, he has a double the worst ERA. He's not a good pitcher at home, according to all of these game logs here. Probably would avoid. I don't think we would use Josiah Gray anyway. Probably avoiding him. I wouldn't mind a Boston stack. We could look at the bats Devers has a ton of red. Tristan Casas has been on fire for us. Jarren Duran, Justin Turner, Alex Verdugo, Masataka Yoshida has been good. I would look at them. And we can go through that, but what I'm going to do is this is what I want to try. People have been up and down whether or not they like these batter splits or not. I'm going to put these are on the website completely free. For this video only, I'm going to do the StatCast information because this is actually the full lineups that are out compared to some of them for the teams. They are on the team. They've been switched. I'm going to do completely StatCast today, and then you guys use this information, build your lineups or however you do, and let me know if you'd rather see the batter splits or if you'd rather see this. Because I think if I do both of these, the videos are going to be like 2 hours long and you guys aren't going to watch them. So I'm going to do a test run on this. The batter splits are on the website, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. You can check it out under the MLB tab. I think it's the third tab down. Completely free. Go check those out on the website, and that'll let me know that you guys are actually paying attention to the website because I want to see the traffic that goes there. So if you want to see one or the other, let us know down below. That could be your comment as well. Would you rather see StatCast with the updated information, or would you rather see the batter splits, which do help a little bit, but I have had some people that say since the batter splits, they've been doing a little bit worse because they're just mainly going off that. So kind of let me know your thought process, because the batter splits are okay, but then, maybe a lefty starter goes 3 innings and gets absolutely shelled, and then we didn't have the information for the batters against righties. The bullpen is all righties or something like that. So definitely let me know. Washington side, there's not a ton. Ruiz would be one. He's got a little bit of red there. Stone Garrett, maybe a little bit for tournaments. Lane Thomas, he's got a bunch of blue though. He's fast, so that he's got that going for him. But yeah, there's not a ton to like here. Jeter Downs will be a cheap option. But yeah, I'd probably take the Boston Red Sox as a stack, and I would probably take Nick Pivetta over Josiah Gray and Washington. Next game, Phillies at Toronto Blue Jays. You got Zach Wheeler versus Kikuchi. Wheeler, 86 plate appearances against this current roster, 247 batting average, 23.3 strikeout rate. And then Kikuchi's only seen 7 plate appearances of Phillies bats. Dig into those numbers just a little bit more. Wheeler is the top option on the slate here at 11,600. Game logs coming off, against Washington, 3 earned runs. If he didn't give up those, he would have had probably 24, 25 fantasy points, which would have been perfect for his salary. Not a good game against Miami, but a few games in a row that have been good. He's got a matchup against Toronto. Now, ever since Bo Bichette has left hurt, been on the IL, Toronto in that time has struck out more against righties than not. Obviously, they didn't strike out much against Taillon on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it was. But Zach Wheeler is a better pitcher than Jameson Taillon. Splits-wise, he's faced Toronto once this year already. 7 innings in that game, 1 earned run, 1 home run, 25.4 fantasy points. That is exactly the line that we could take out of here. Looking at that, he is pitching on the road. He's better on the road in one more start, has more Ks, less walks, less home runs. Zach Wheeler is in a fantastic spot here. That is probably why he is priced the way he is. Then we got Kikuchi down here, 9,000, so 2,600 less than Wheeler. Game logs, he's got 3.53 ERA, 9-4 record. Looking at his game logs here, really good game against Cleveland, 7 innings, pitch, 1 earned run, 6 Ks. 17.3 against Baltimore, had a good game against the Dodgers, had a good game against Seattle as well. Splits-wise, he only faced, 7 batters total. He hasn't faced the Phillies this year. At home, he is just a little bit better at home, 3.44 ERA. Not too bad, but I'm still probably taking Philly in this one. So we can look at the bats in this one. Trey Turner's been absolutely heating up since the standing ovation game, whenever that was. That's been like a storyline lately. Schwarber's been on fire. It is a lefty on lefty matchup, but I'd still take a little bit of Schwarbombs here. Bryce Harper, he's hitting the ball pretty well. Got a great WOBA, got a batting average 278, 483 slugging. I would look at that, but that might be more of a tournament option for me. Weston Wilson's going to be a cheap option there if he starts. Trey Turner, like I said, has been on fire, and he has a chance to get stolen bases as well. There's a lot of speed on this team. You've got, if they can get on, they can steal bases. Real Muto against a lefty, I will take Real Muto. He's been on fire. Alec Boehm as well. Nick Castellanos has been just hitting lefties all year long. I would look at him. Those would probably be the ones I play in this game. Schwarber, Harper, Weston Wilson is a very cheap option. Trey Turner, Real Muto, Boehm, and Castellanos. The Phillies might be a team where I make multiple different stacks on the day. If we aren't taking Wheeler for whatever reason and you want to take Toronto bats, Matt Chapman has a ton of red that I'd look at. Vlad has been heating up a little bit. I know Danny Jansen has a lot of blue, but when we've used him, he's hit a home run, it seems like every single time. Maybe a little bit of Varsho as well. But yeah, I mean, maybe Davis Schneider, but I don't know. That's more of a tournament option there. So I'd rather side on the Phillies and Zach Wheeler than I would on Kikuchi and the Blue Jays as a whole. Pirates at the Mets, you got Bailey Falter versus David Peterson. Battle of the lefties here. Haven't seen very much. Two teams that are not good. Let's just put it that way. Two teams that are not good are facing each other. So it's really hard to think about it. But let's look at the bottom here. I know they're both down here. You got Bailey Falter here. Game log, yeah. He's starting, but he's not going deep into games. He's not one that you'd be looking at. 1 fantasy point, 6.8, 9, 2.1. Not something I want. Going up against the Mets even, I don't want Bailey Falter. And then we can look at what has David Peterson done. He's just a little bit more expensive by 300. I still wouldn't use him. Game log, okay game against the Cubs. But again, look, he's not going in. He's starting. He's not going deep into games. Whether or not he's going to get stretched out throughout the year, I don't know. But I'm not using either of these pitching. If you're asking me, I'd rather use the bats in this one, but that's not saying much. If I am using the bats, Pirates bats, Brian Hayes, fantastic numbers here. Just had a triple the other day for us, had a bunch of fantasy points for us. Sawinski, I don't mind. Brian Reynolds, I don't mind. Kutch, a little bit of Kutch, I don't mind here. Connor Joe has actually been helping us. It's been kind of crazy, but when we've used him, he's come through. That's probably it for the Pirates bats. Mets bats, if we're not using Falter, which we're not. Nimmo, Lindor switch hitter. Pete Alonso I would definitely use against a lefty. Francisco Alvarez I would use. Probably Nimmo, Lindor, Alvarez, Pete Alonso probably would be the ones that I would use in this game. So again, I'm not using either pitching. I would rather use both side bats in that one than I would pitching in that game. And just kind of looking, weather as of now looks like it's probably going to be pretty good overall. Again, weather can change by the time you watch this video, but as of the making of this video, the weather looks like it might hold off and we might be pretty good. Again, we have a weather tab on our cheat sheet. We also have optimal lineups, and we have our cheat sheet which contains both cash and tournament plays that we like at each position. We also have an article down below in the description of the video. Kind of breaks down a little bit more like the top 5 pitchers we like on the slate overall with their numbers. And then about the top 3 bats at each position that we like that we do pull from our cheat sheet. So if you want to check those out, definitely a great way to also support the channel by watching our videos and checking out the articles we put out. Next game, Yankees at the Braves. We don't have to look at these numbers. Severino is might be the worst pitcher in Major League Baseball right now. 8.06 ERA, and they're still trotting him out there as a starter. He has fantastic stuff, just not putting it together this year. Minus 3.1, 1.6, minus 7.7, 16. That's against the Royals. It doesn't count. 12.1. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm stacking the Braves. I'm not looking at Severino. I do not trust him. It's in Atlanta. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. I'm stacking every single Braves batter that I can. Number 1 stack right here. Wouldn't be surprised if the Braves put up 20-plus runs on this Yankees team, especially if Severino gives up a ton. If Severino gives up like 9 or 10 in the first inning somehow, which, knock on wood, I hope not, Boone will not pull him. Braves will put up a ton of runs in this game. I do not see a way that they don't. You want to go contrarian, you could go Severino. If you want to, but if you want to also, just Cash App me. The Cash App's down below. Whatever you think you want to spend on a lineup for Severino, just donate that to me, please. Cash App is down below. It's FTAsports is the Cash App, because that is you're just throwing away your money. Bryce Elder, and I don't think I really need to tell you what bats to use for the Braves, but I'm using Olsen, Albies, everybody. Literally everyone in this lineup. Look at this. Everybody. I'm using Olsen, Acuna, Riley, Murphy, Ozuna, Harris, Rosario, Arcia, Albies. Literally every single person. If you want to look at Elder, if you want to look at his numbers, it's been very up and down. 3.64 ERA, respectable. But he's not done much lately. Against the Pirates, 5 innings, 5 earned runs. You would think the Yankees could put that up. Who knows if they can put that up? Gave up 5 runs to the Cubs. Gave up 5 runs to Arizona. This could be I wouldn't doubt if this game is the highest over-under. When the Vegas numbers come out, we have that on the website, but I'm betting 9.5, maybe open up 10.5, if not more. I'm not using pitching here. I would use both sides of the bats. The ones that I would use for this, Judge, Stanton, Glaber, IKF, Bader. It just depends on who's going to be in there. Jake Bauers was leading off the other on Sunday, I believe, 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. The game that the Yankees somehow blew, 5 runs in the 9th inning? Absolutely unbelievable. So, yeah, again, not looking at Severino, really not looking at Elder. I'm looking at both sides. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. Tigers at the Twins. You got Alex Faedo versus Bailey Ober. Faedo, 28 plate appearances, 160 batting average. Bailey Ober, 65 plate appearances, 323 batting average against him. Looking at these numbers, I know Detroit, they're very bad offensively. ISO, I think they still rank 29th out of 30. I would look at Bailey Ober, but we can look at this. So, Alex Faedo here. Let's see where he is. There he is. So, looking at this, game logs, he's not, 4.2 innings. He did go 6 innings once. He just faced Minnesota his last start. 4.2 innings, 3 earned runs, 10.9 fantasy points. Not enough for us. Splits-wise, he's on the road. He's a little bit better on the road, but that's not saying a ton. He's only started 2 games on the road. So I'm not looking at him. I'd probably look at Minnesota bats. And then the flip side of that, Bailey Ober is going to be up here. Did he just face him? He just faced Detroit his last start. 5 innings, 4 earned runs. Did get the loss in that one, which is kind of crazy. That was in Detroit. Now they're at home. Splits-wise, he actually has faced Detroit twice this year. 11 innings pitched, 16 hits allowed against them, 8 runs. Probably avoiding Bailey Ober as well. See, this is why we dig into the numbers. Because if we were to just look at the surface and I say, oh, Detroit's been bad, they've actually hit him very well. So that is why I think we make a fantastic DFS help place, because other ones are going to be like, just take this person. They're not going to dig into numbers for you, or it's behind a paywall. While we do have a paywall on the website, we give a ton of information out. This is one that on paper I would have been like, I'm taking Bailey Ober. You dig in a little bit, don't like it as much now. Especially at 10,200, he's still priced up. I'm not looking at that. So I'm probably going to avoid this. We can look at the bats in this one just to kind of see. Carlos Correa's kind of been coming along. We've used him like the last 3 times we've used him, he's actually hit a home run in the game, which is crazy. So if you're not taking either of these pitchers, I would look at the bats in this one. I would look at Torkelson. Riley Green's been absolutely on fire for us. Kerry Carpenter as well. I would look at Kerry Carpenter. So the bats that I would use in this would be Torkelson, Green, Carpenter. That's probably maybe Jake Rogers if he starts. That's probably it. Or Matt Vierling as well for Detroit. And then if we flip side of this, Joey Gallo would only be a tournament option. He strikes out. He'll have 1 home run, but he'll have 4 strikeouts on top of it. So I would use him. Max Kepler. Ryan Jeffers has actually been pretty good for us. Donovan Solano's been good for us. Correa. Julian, not really sure how you say his name. I would look at those bats on this side, but I'm avoiding the pitching in this game. I'm going with those bats that we just talked about. Next game, Oakland Athletics versus St. Louis Cardinals. You got Freddie Tarnok versus Dakota Hudson. Those are some names I never thought I'd see at the start of the season. Come down here. Where's Tarnok? Isn't there a game on N64? Or it's Tarok. Tarok? It was like dinosaurs or something? Right? Am I crazy? I mean, he's on the IL. Is he coming off the IL? Oh, so he's not starting. He was just put on the IL on Monday. So he is out. Is there someone for Oakland that you're going to be pitching? Or we're going to be waiting? Yeah, so we don't even know who's pitching for Oakland because he's now on the IL. So Dakota Hudson, you're up next. You're at the bottom. You're close to the bottom anyway. Game logs. He got the win against Tampa Bay, but didn't do much. 5 innings, got 7.9 fantasy. So while getting the W against Tampa Bay's kind of peaked, I think. I think they're coming back down to earth. He did have a good game against Minnesota. Sorry, I confused that because Miami hats are what apparently Minnesota wears now. He did face Miami, though. Didn't do too good. Splits-wise, hasn't faced Oakland this year. Hasn't faced he's 5 plate appearances, so nothing. Looking at that, hasn't really started very many games. He is now at home where he started 2 games, 4.43 ERA. It is Oakland, so you could be kind of selective there because Oakland's not a very good team. But I don't know what team is going to play behind him if he's going to get run support enough to use him. Probably not using him in cash for sure. Maybe tournaments because he is 5,800, so he does allow you to pay up at almost every other position. And he is a good matchup on paper against Oakland, and we can look at those numbers and we can check it out and see. So tournaments, I don't mind him as an SP2 because he is 5,800 and allows us to pay up everywhere else. The only ones that I'd really use, if I'm not using Hudson and I'm looking at Oakland bats, Zach Geloff I would use. Seth Brown, Brent Rooker would be ones. Maybe J.J. Bleday. No, he's not enough there. So yeah, Ruiz is only really used for if he gets on to get stolen bases. That's pretty much it for me anyway. Depending on who we're using, so it depends on who's pitching for Oakland. We don't know yet. Might be not till lineups come out that we know, late at night. If we're using St. Louis bats, though, Wilson Contreras would be one I'd use. Goldschmidt would be one. Jordan Walker. Nolan Gorman. Arenado. Edmund. I mean, there's a lot to like in this. It's crazy how much red and like positivity these bats look like on paper, but then their record says otherwise. So, depends. Lars Nootbaar, I think, depending on what pitcher comes in for Oakland, since it's not going to be Tarnok, St. Louis could be a sneaky stack that people might be off of. But again, you got to be a little bit weary because Cardinals have been bad this year. Like, bad. Next game, you got Angels at the Rangers. You got Lucas Giolito versus Jordan Montgomery. Giolito's faced a ton of the Rangers bats, and he's actually had success. 117 plate appearances, 196 batting average, striking out 32.5% of those batters. But Texas has been super hot this season. We know that. Jordan Montgomery just got traded not too long ago. 63 plate appearances against the Angels, 267 batting average against them. So we dig into the numbers a little bit. Let's take a look at Giolito. I know he's going to be up here in price. 3rd highest priced pitcher on the slate. Game logs, pretty good game against San Francisco. 6 innings there, 3 earned runs, 7 Ks. Not a good game against Atlanta. That is, because Atlanta's good. That's the 2 starts that he's gotten or given the Angels. Splits-wise, now these are going to be off because, well, technically these will be good. His away games, though, he's been really bad. Very, very bad. I know he's got, if you look at his numbers, this is what I'm saying. You look at his numbers here, they look good. And then you dig into the numbers lately. On the road, he's been absolutely atrocious this year. Giving up 17 home runs on the road. This is in Texas with the Texas Heat against this Texas team that brings the heat itself. I'm all in on Texas bats. What bats are you asking? Almost all of them. Literally almost all of them. So if I'm taking Texas bats in this one, Corey Seager's been absolutely on fire. He absolutely mashes. He's batting like 350 against righties. His numbers are fantastic. Love Corey Seager. Don't be surprised if he hits a home run. Adolis Garcia, I don't mind. Duran, I don't mind. Nate Lowe against righties, I absolutely smash that when it happens. Robbie Grossman for tournaments, I don't mind. Marcus Semien, I don't mind. Travis Jankowski is another option I would use. So then if we look at this, Jordan Montgomery making his third start and he's the second highest priced pitcher. Against the Angels, is this his third start? This will be his third start for Texas. Would have had a better game. I mean, they ended up getting the loss. Oakland beat them 2-0. 6 innings out of Montgomery against Oakland at Oakland. 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, 14.7. Not enough for 10,000. Against Miami, though, had a fantastic game. You look at the splits. He hasn't faced the Angels this year. He's pitching at home, which this will be his second home start since he got traded. So these numbers might be a little off. But he's pitched a little bit worse at home. I'd still take Montgomery over Lucas Giolito. If you're not taking Montgomery, I mean, Ohtani obviously would be one I'd look at. Brandon Drury against the lefty I would look at. Grichuk I would look at. CJ Cron against the lefty. Those would be the ones that I look at. And it just depends on if you want to pay that price. So Montgomery's only $600 less than Wheeler. I'd rather take Wheeler in this one. But Montgomery's there if you want to save $600. I wouldn't take Giolito against the Rangers at home. Not at all. So I'd rather take Montgomery, and I'd rather stack Texas against Giolito than taking Giolito and a ton of Angels bats in this game. And again, check the weather on the weather tab, because the hotter it is in Texas, the more humid it is, the ball's going to fly out of there. And we also have humidity rating, we have a batter rating, and a pitcher rating as well. So obviously, the more green a pitcher rating is, the better matchup they have with all the ballpark factors in there. And we also have ballpark factors on the website. Again, we have a ton of information on the website, so go check that out. Next game, the White Sox at the Cubs. You got Touki Toussaint versus Kyle Hendricks. Toussaint looked like an absolute magician out there against the Yankees the other day. Go figure. Game log, 5 innings, 4 earned runs, 9 Ks. By magician, I mean he struck out 9, which is nuts. He still ended up losing the game. I believe this was in 1 inning, though. But 9 strikeouts against the Yankees. Now he has a matchup against the Cubs. He just faced them back on July 26th. He only pitched 1 inning, though, so he didn't do much. He was coming out of the bullpen. And that's the only time he's faced them. So they didn't hit anything, but again, those numbers are going to be skewed. It's 1 hit, or 1 inning off of him. His home games, he is a little bit better. He is better at home. Away games, he's 547. Whether or not, a lot of factors go into that mindset. Whether or not it's the weather, I don't know. But they're in the same city, so they're not going to be traveling for this. That maybe is a plus there. But I'm still not taking Toussaint against the Cubs team. Cubs team, they're hitting really well right now. Kyle Hendricks, again, like I said in his last video, he doesn't do anything sexy. Against the Mets, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, had 6 Ks. It's the most Ks he's had in any game. That was 15.1. I think people are going to chase that. Now he's $800 more going up against a White Sox team. I think people are going to see, he had 6 Ks and use him. I'm probably avoiding Kyle Hendricks. I just don't trust him enough. So we could look at the game logs here, or the bats that we'd look at. Take a look at both the White Sox and the Cubs bats. I'm probably using the bats out of both teams here. I would use Eloy. I would use Andrew Vaughn. Luis Robert Jr. Moncada would be a tournament option, I think. Colas would also be a tournament option. Benintendi would also be a tournament option. So I think Eloy, Vaughn, and Robert would be my cash options for the White Sox. And then we take a look at the Cubs. Patrick Wisdom's only a tournament option. I'd rather take him against lefty, so that's my thought in that one. I would take Morel. I would take Suzuki. Dansby Swanson's been absolutely on fire for us lately. Ian Happ I would use. Tauchman. I love Tauchman if he's leading off. If he's not leading off, I like him a little bit less, because we're going to get 4+ at bats out of him if he's leading off. And he just has a lot more value leading off than not leading off. Bellinger's been absolutely on fire. It's Bellinger resurgence season. I'm on Bellinger as well. Don't be surprised if Bellinger and Swanson both hit home runs in this game. Those would be the bats that I would use in this game. Not use neither pitcher. Especially, hopefully the wind's blown out and we can just stack in this game as well. Mariners at the Royals. You got Emerson Hancock versus Jordan Lyles. Like I said in yesterday's video, when I made the video, Emerson Hancock was the projected starter. Did not start. He now gets this. Like I said, let's see if he's priced up. He was $4,000 last time. So they did put him up to $5,500, which is unfortunate. But I still like him here. He's got a fantastic matchup. And if you've been with us before, you know that I absolutely love taking a pitcher that's never faced a team before. Then you couple that with taking a pitcher that's never faced the Royals, and you couple on top of that with a pitcher that's never faced the Royals in Kansas City at his price of $5,500, you can do a lot. You draft at $5,500, and like I said, if you wanted to go with Dakota Hudson against Oakland at $5,800, this could be a start of a fantastic tournament lineup for you. So I do love Hancock in this one. I loved him yesterday at $4,000. Unfortunately, he went up to $5,500. Doesn't really matter. That's still fantastic value here. He's got some good stuff, and he's got a great matchup against Kansas City in a very friendly pitcher's park. I'm not using Jordan Lyles. I would be looking at Mariners bats against Jordan Lyles. We can look at Jordan Lyles' numbers real quick. He's down here as well. Game logs, had a good game against Boston at Boston. Win 8 innings there. That's an anomaly. Other than that, that's the most amount of strikeouts he's had, most amount of innings pitched he's had this year. He just had a very good game this year, or that game. Hasn't faced Seattle. Home games, he has a better ERA at home, but it's still almost 5. So that leads me to believe I'm taking Mariners bats. The bats I would look at would be Julio, Dylan Moore, Suarez, Teoscar Hernandez. I think his name's Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh, I would look at. Those would be the bats that I would use. Probably these 5 right here. The Kansas City bats, I'm not using them because I do like, well, if you're not going with Hancock, Melendez, Garcia, Bobby Witt, Salvador Perez, Kyle Isbell, Michael Massey would be the ones that I'd use. Maybe Freddie Furman as well. But I would rather take Hancock here against Kansas City at Kansas City. Diamondbacks at the Rockies, to be announced versus Ty Block. I believe it's down here, and it's the Ciccone, Jabroni, whatever his name is. I'm not using him. Nothing. I don't want anything to do with either of these pitchers because I don't. I'd rather look at the bats here. I'm going to side on the bats of the Arizona Diamondbacks over everybody else in this matchup. Probably not using Colorado bats, or you could. It just depends. They're going to be very expensive. But Tommy Pham against the lefty, and a couple of that in Colorado, I'm all over Tommy Pham. Ketel Marte I like. Corbin Carroll, lefty on lefty matchup. I don't care. I'm taking him. I would look at Gurriel Jr. I would look at Christian Walker. Don't be surprised if we see a ton of home runs in this game. I'm going these 6 batters right here would be the ones that I would try and make a stack of. If you're not going with Ciccone or whatever his name is, Nolan Jones has been pretty good. I would look at Ryan McMahon. Diaz, maybe a little bit, but that's probably it. That's probably the only bats. I'd rather stack the Diamondbacks and then take a couple of the Rockies bats, and that's really it in this one. Baltimore at San Diego, Jack Flaherty versus Michael Wacha. Michael Wacha coming off the IL. So 2 former teammates facing each other. That's pretty cool. You don't see that every day. But then, yeah, you look at their numbers. Dig in a little bit. Wacha off the IL. He hasn't pitched since July 1st. Yeah, I just don't trust him enough, especially against this Baltimore team. Overall, he hasn't faced Baltimore this year. Hasn't pitched in over a month. Probably not going to be... was on a mild pitch count for the contest. Probably is on one again, so I wouldn't trust him. I'd rather look at San Diego bats. And then the flip side of that, Jack Flaherty, depending on which Jack Flaherty you're going to get, are you going to get the Jack Flaherty against Toronto or a decent Jack Flaherty against Houston, or are you going to get the Jack Flaherty from the Cardinals that had negative points? Really don't know what you're going to get. He's pitching on the road. He has been better on the road, so we could look at that. But I'm probably taking bats overall in this game, not taking pitching. I'd rather stack because both of these teams can hit. This shouldn't be a surprise. I think everyone knows that both of these teams can hit. If I'm not taking either of them, I would look at Henderson. I would look at Mountcastle. I don't mind Ryan O'Hearn against a righty. Santander is a switch hitter. I don't mind him. Cedric Mullins is more of a tournament option. Adley, I like Adley here. Those would be the ones that I'd use for there. If I'm not going with Flaherty because I think he's going to get hit hard or whatever. This is a pitcher's park, though. But Juan Soto's absolutely amazing against righties. I would look at that. He's got a ton of red and barely. The only blue he has is his speed, and it's not even that bad. Tatis I would look at. Machado, Trent Grisham. I would look at Cronenworth as a cheaper option. Kim I would look at as well. And Gary Sanchez maybe for tournaments if he's starting, but I don't know if he'll be starting. So I'm going to avoid both of these pitchers. I would rather just use the bats in this game. Rays at the Giants. As of now, it says we don't know. Let's see if anyone's here. I'm not going to trust this, to be honest with you. Littell facing his old team. He's gone 6 innings and back-to-back starts at 6,800. I don't mind him, actually. I think he's a great tournament option if he starts. Don't know if he's going to. Home games, so technically he used to pitch here. Not too good, but game logs had a pretty good game here against the St. Louis Cardinals, a good game against Detroit, pretty good game against Houston as well. If he could go at least 5 innings, I don't mind him. Facing his old team, and this is a fantastic ballpark for pitchers, he could be a very sneaky option at 6,800. I think a lot of people will be off of him. I think we could take advantage of that. And then San Francisco, they think it's going to be Tristan Beck. Hasn't started a game, though. He might be a opener, so we're not gonna be able to use him. He went 4 innings against Arizona with 3 Ks at 17.8 at 4,000, but he's out now 6,100. He's just priced out of my range. We could look at the bats in this one. Let's take a gander, I guess. We'll look real quick. And again, don't forget, stay around because we're going to do the simulations here after this. If I'm probably looking at Tampa Bay bats over San Francisco bats. Diaz, been pretty good. Arozarena has been good. Luke Raley has been good for us. I would look at Brandon Lau here. Harold Ramirez, I don't mind. Jose Siri, Isaac Paredes would be the ones I'd look at. If I'm not taking Zach Littell, Jock Peterson's been good. J.D. Davis, Patrick Bailey a little bit. Conforto, Lamont Wade Jr., Wilmer Flores, and Tyro Estrada would be the bats that I'd look at in these lineups if they come out and they are starting. But again, I kind of like Zach Littell. If he's starting, don't know if he is, though. It's not confirmed. And then the final game on the day is Adrian Hauser versus Bobby Miller. The Brewers at the Los Angeles Dodgers. We look at Adrian Hauser number here. Looking at this, game log wise, 5 innings against Colorado, 9.7 fantasy points at 7,300. He's now 8,000 in LA against the Dodgers. He's just priced too high up for me. Hasn't faced the Dodgers this year. He's faced 46 plate appearances of the Dodgers in his career, striking out less than 20% and 256 batting average. Probably going to avoid it. Away games, he's been worse on the road, and he's got to go into LA and face this LA team. He's at 8,000. He's priced too much. It would be like he'd need to be 5,000 to me to feel confident enough to take him against the Dodgers. Then we got Bobby Miller, who's only faced 5 Brewers batters in his entire career. We look at his numbers here. Game logs, coming off a pretty good game at Arizona, 6 innings, 4 Ks. Would have been even more had he not given up 4 walks. Against San Diego, didn't have a good game. Cincy, Texas, okay games there. Splits-wise, home games, he is worse at home in 6 starts. I don't know if I like either of these pitchers. I think I'd rather take the bats. And I think it's pretty known which bats we would take here. But we'll look at it. We'll look at both Milwaukee bats, and we'll look at both and also LA bats. But Milwaukee bats is Christian Yelich has been absolutely on fire for us, on fire for the season. I think it's Christian Yelich and Cody Bellinger should win co-NL comeback player of the year. So they've just been really good this year. I would look at them. I would look at Carlos Santana for tournaments, but he's a lot more blue than green or red. Monasterio, he'd be a cheap option if you're going that route. Sal Frelick, maybe a little bit. Willie Adames, a little bit there. But yeah, the Dodgers bats. If JD Martinez is in, but I don't know if he's hurt. Let's take a look real quick. Is JD Martinez hurt? Is he on the IL? No, he's just day-to-day. Hamstring injury. He hasn't played since... It's been over a week since he's played. So if he's in, I don't mind him. But again, that's a big if he's in. Mookie Betts, Max Muncy, David Peralta, Freddie Freeman. I mean, look at this. These would be the ones I look at. I'd sprinkle in a little bit of Outman, Rosario would be the one. So pretty much from Outman up, I would look at Dodgers and just sprinkle in the Brewers bats would be the only thing I kind of like in this. I do not like the pitching in this game. And there you have it. There's the breakdown of all of the pitchers and the bats that we like in the entire 15-game matchup. It is a longer video, but it is hopefully an informative video. So now we are going to go over and cover. We've already gone ahead and projected this out. We've done 2,000 simulations so far. Again, like I said, we'll do 10 total. And I don't think it's going to be a surprise. But top 10 batters and top 10 pitchers that we like through 2,000 simulations. If you go to the website, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, the end, about an hour and a half before first pitch of the main slate, we do 10,000 simulations. So first run through this with the 2,000 simulations, it's not going to be a surprise. Atlanta Braves are the number one stack of the day. They've got the best matchup here. So looking at this, the simulations really love Acuna at number 1, Aaron Judge number 2, Mookie Betts, Adolis Garcia, Brandon Nimmo, Matt Olson, Francisco Lindor, Jake Bauers, if he leads off, but that's a big if, Bobby Witt Jr., and Ozzie Albies. So as you can see, it likes 3 Atlanta Braves bats right off the bat. It will change a little bit, but those are the top 10 batters that it likes. So the top 10 pitchers it likes on the day so far, you say Kikuchi, which I don't know if I'll use, but we'll definitely dig in a little bit more and see. Zach Wheeler. It does like Bobby Miller, Jordan Montgomery, Nick Pivetta. It actually does like Logan Allen against Cincinnati. I don't know about that. I think I'll tweak something about that, but it's got them there. It does have Bailey Ober against Minnesota, or against Detroit, but I think that'll change a little bit. It likes Kyle Hendricks against the Cubs, which I don't. Graham Ashcraft and Jack Flaherty against Baltimore, along with Emerson Hancock. So these will change. These will update throughout 10,000 simulations. So don't use these as, oh, he said this and that's it, I'm going with that. Definitely change it up a bit. It will change by the time. It might have changed by the time you've watched this video. It just depends on when this video hits you. So that's what I've got in this entire slate. Hopefully I didn't bore you a lot. A lot of information. A lot of great information, hopefully. If you enjoyed it, and if you're still here after 54 minutes, congratulations, you made it through it. We're done for the day. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back with PGA stuff, MMA stuff, and we're ramping up NFL. I'm going to start putting some NFL content out there as well. So that's all I've got in this video. Come back tomorrow. Like this video, please. Good luck, and as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace!